ready to get under starters orders. The UCI Cross Country Olympic World Cup for the elite women. And they are going Araxa, Brazil. Jackson goes hard left into the crowd.
Whoa, it's a big one.
Sevilla Blum takes the lead away from Jenny Rissveds. You cannot take your eyes off this one. Maxwell looking absolutely superb here, leads the way. Samara Maxwell wins in Araxa.
The team has been so incredible for me. So to have everything fall into line for these amazing people, it's the most special part.
And they are off in racing in Araxa. And a huge crash further back. Absolute carnage. Specialised Factory Racing flying information out front. Damage being done early doors here. Victor Koretsky has attacked his teammate on lap 8 out of 9. Like Evel Knievel over a load of buses. Victor Koretsky does the job in Araxa. Who's going to take third place? It's going to be Martin Vidari, the Chilean Specialised Factory Racing, do the triple. Cross-country mountain biking at its very best. And if that didn't get you in the mood for round 2, then I don't know what will. Hello everyone, welcome to the Whoop UCI Mountain Bike World Series. We are live from Araxa for the second weekend in a row. The UCI Cross Country Olympic World Cup has found a little South American home here. Absolutely superb racing all fortnight long here in Minas Gerais in Brazil. Just outside the town of Araxa at the Grand Hotel Araxa. Very, very different racetrack at the same venue. 27 degrees Celsius out there. Definitely feels a lot hotter in the sun. Bit of wind knocking around. The humidity has dropped mercifully since this morning. As we see the world's fastest riders on the grid, getting ready to head towards the front row. Here is the schedule for today then. Cross-country Olympic elite women from 5:45 Central European time. And then the elite men follow almost straight after. Will we see a repeat performance from Specialised Factory Racing? Well, Samara Maxwell is in the red jersey. Let's hear from her now.
All I need from you is
I was trying to actually kill a bug.
That's what I thought.
I was trying to kill 2 bugs with 1 clap. Ever since I was little, you dream of winning a World Cup, let alone an elite World Cup. So for it, honestly, to come so quickly in my elite career is insane. I've kind of progressed faster than I thought I could, so now I'm just excited to see where I can go from here.
Really cool to see her take initiative on the last lap, and yeah, winning it. I was just so stoked to be on the podium with her.
I think together as a team we've shown that like you don't have to be this big money-driven team. Like everyone does it because we love it, and we just want to see everyone succeed.
Everyone's trying to make it feel good. Whether the riders are having a bad day or a good day, it definitely is like an extra, a little bit of energy and positivity. Everyone's just trying to be calm and enjoy.
I was talking to an old psychologist of mine yesterday, and she made a pretty awesome distinction where she was like, athlete Sammy's been doing really well. How is person Sammy doing? And I was like, oh, actually, person Sammy's been kind of struggling a bit recently. Having the REDS diagnosis was really important. REDS is relative energy deficiency syndrome, and it's basically the result of underfueling your training, and you just don't get enough energy to your body. And as a result, your body goes, all right, we'll function, but we're gonna have to shut down these other important systems for you to be able to survive. And the best change I have made in the last few months is actually acknowledging that I have REDS, but it's not just REDS, it's a result of my eating disorder. You know, REDS almost just looks at the physical aspect of your health and manages the risks around that, but there's also a need of those cognitive behaviours to be assessed as well. I'm probably the heaviest I've ever been, and I won a World Cup, so that was amazing for my mental health, right? Like for my ability to just like kind of work against those eating disorder thoughts. It's been ingrained in my brain for around 7 years kind of thing. So these thoughts are pretty strong, so you need some pretty good evidence to back up against them, and this is exactly what I need to hear, yeah.
Absolutely stunning stuff from Samara Maxwell. Huge, huge performance last time out, a career best. And this will be a new look course that suits her. Josh Carlson's been round it.
For this week's Carlson on Course, I have the absolute privilege of riding the fastest bike in the world right now, Victor Koretsky's custom S-Works Epic 8. I cannot wait.
Give me my bike. I need to go on the track.
I knew it was too good to be true. Regardless, I've got my own specialised Epic here. We're going to go check out the course. It's a bit different, but all the things we know and love. This weekend, it's going to be much more of a physical battle than the technical nature of last week. This section here is almost at the top of our climb. It's a brand new little bit. Now, what is interesting about this is that it pinches into this single file section. Now, it's quite chunky. The light changes a lot. If you put in a move at the top of the climb here, you can start to accordion and stretch that field out. Now, follow me around the corner here. This is so important because it comes into this next section. Look at this. You must pick your line here to make sure you get all the way up this next technical climb. Now, this was the start of our descent from round 1. Now, it is a climb all the way up. Massive key part of this lap. At the toughest part of the climb, this may be the most technical. There's plenty of line options, which will all be based on fatigue levels. We're now at the highest part of our course, the longest climb to get here. This was our most technical climb. Now it is our most technical descent. You come in here, you've got a big highline option down this bridge, around the outside on the rocks, and you have to make a choice. You either sit in and recover and rest, or you jump this bad boy and send it all the way to the finish line, because now we start our descent all the way home. High speed, technical, and chunky. Up. Oh yeah. As we come up the climb from our last week's course, now we come at this with way more speed. Now this opens up beeline. There's less risk for rocks. There's more speed to exit with. It changes the game of this little rock garden into the famous Supercross section. Wow. Well, as they say, what goes up must come down, and the course here for Araxa round 2 is exactly that. A super long physical climb and one of the highest speeds and longest descents we've seen in a very long time. We can't wait to see the action. We'll see you trackside.
Josh Carlson giving us the inside line on the 2-for-1 tracks here in Araxa. They've done a great job, and it is a completely different racetrack. One woman enjoying her racing yesterday. Nicole Kohler is down there now.
Nicole, we meet again. You were second at the XCO last week. What's the ambition this week?
Yeah, I think I just will give my best again. It's the last race here in Brazil, and then we go home and have some rest. So I just want to empty my tank and give it all and see what's in.
Where will you be at your best on this track? Where can you do the best job?
Actually, I think my biggest strength would be the flat, but for sure I cannot push here because then everyone is on my back wheel. So yeah, I just give my best in the uphills, save energy here in the flat, and then yeah, give it all.
Good luck today.
Thank you.
Riders heading towards the grid. It's time to get the fastest riders in the world onto the line. Samara Maxwell, winner last time out at round 1. The first person, the first elite woman, I should say, from New Zealand to do that. A little bit of history went her way. Can she make it? 2 on the bounce in cross-country Olympic World Cup racing. And this course, in theory, should suit her even more than the first one. Alessandra Keller, the reigning overall title holder, Tumas Maxson, will be involved in this one right from the start. Keller, missed consistency. Needs to get her title defence back underway properly. A win here today would help things out nicely. 4th last time out for Keller. Liv Factory Racing's Ronja Blurtlinger on her elite season debut. Superb short track race from her yesterday. Sixth place finish for the woman in purple, Jen Jackson. We saw at the top of the show, massive smash early doors last weekend, but her lap times were right up there with the race winner, Samara Maxwell's. And the Canadian national champion assert a bit of authority over this one. Lyra Steger, Specialized Factory Racing have been so dominant here in Brazil once again. They'll be looking to the Austrian national champion to get the big red S up on the elite women's podium. Jenny Rissveds just keeps getting better, and on the Canyon Collective team, she has a whole new toy box to play with. Typically extremely fast starting, the Swedish national champion will be in amongst it. 3rd place in the short track yesterday. Nicole Kohler, what a time she is having to herself in Brazil. 2nd at round 1 in the cross-country Olympics, 2nd in yesterday's short track race. Ghost Factory Racing. Kohler. Evie Richards, the most successful elite woman in short track history after that win yesterday. Trek Factory Racing, all smiles as ever from Evie. Can she do the double? And here we go. Let's get confirmation of that start list for you. Richards, Kohler, Rissveds, Steger, Jackson, Blurtlinger, Keller, Maxwell, Urban, Zena Fry. My name's Rick McLaughlin. I'll be taking you through this one. Joining me in the booth, a three-time Olympian, Ollie Beckinsale, and this one is heating up. A treat, isn't it, here in Araxa?
Wow, we had a fantastic race last week. We had new racers coming in who'd never been on the podium before. We had the old guard. Yeah, it's going to be a banger.
Yep, it is going to be an absolute belter, this one. They are almost ready to go racing here in Araxa. The lights will go red and then we will wait for the gun. Evie Richards, all smiles on the front row. Who is going to lead them away here in Araxa? Round 2 of the UCI Cross Country Olympic World Cup for the elite women gets underway. Jen Jackson, trademark strong start, but look at Ronja Blurtlinger to the front line, the purple of Liv Factory Racing.
Candice Lill getting shuffled back, all the way back into the 20s, so a poor start for her. Here's Blocklinger taking on Maxwell coming up the outside.
Blurtlinger really growing in stature, looking more and more comfortable every time we see her in with the elites. But look who's at the front now, Alessandra Keller, alongside Luana Lecomte, of all people.
So the start loop on this one, or the start of this course, is the same. And this on this new course for this week, we now go up the first climb that we did in the short track, but instead of turning right, we drop left, but it's a pinch point. Everybody wants to be in this top 5, top 10 at the worst.
The UCI World Cup overall points leader, Samara Maxwell, making herself felt at the front of that, just getting the right line moving. Looked like Luana Lecomte out of her way in the process, but Keller is going to lead them on the base of this climb for the first time, alongside Ronja Blurtlinger.
So important, like we say many a time. You're not going to win it here, but you can lose it on the first lap.
Yeah, Yolanda Neff in there as well in your last shot in the green, white and orange of Cannondale Factory Racing as they head up the climb, tortuously steep. Double kick this, Ollie, to get things underway.
Yeah, it's a really tough climb. 25% at the top of this one, and it's Maxwell.
Maxwell at
full
the
of
front
confidence.
On the #1 bike for Rock Rider. On the Rock Rider on the Decathlon Ford squad. Sorry, excuse me.
And in the top of this climb, they go left onto a cobbled road.
Candice Lill on the #8 bike, working her way around the outside. Not as far up as we might have expected her, but plenty of time left in this one. Luana Lecomte in the national champions jersey of France on the left-hand side of your shot now as well, looking to move into a good position. And there's Jen Jackson just behind Lecomte. Steger's in the mix, as is Rissveds. Keller's still there.
And it's almost a continual climb, this one, for about 4 minutes. We turn right now. This is the bottom of the Energy Red Bull section from last week. Last week they hit this at full speed. Today they just were coming onto it at climbing speed. So it makes the climb so much tougher.
And still, Samara Maxwell just absolutely full of confidence. And Ollie, this new track layout, it will have been music to her ears, won't it? This is arguably suits her better than the last one.
Yeah, 100%. You get some riders that love, I mean, Koretsky's a key example in the men's. He loves this little punch, and they can punch, recover on the way up through. Thought Sammy Maxwell, Sevilla Blanc, 2 riders that did well last week, but were along a longer, more gradual climb like this one.
There's Kira Bohm, making only her second elite level UCI World Cup start. There's Yolanda Neff on the #5 Cannondale Factory Racing machine. Anna Santos, her teammate, on the 40 just behind her. Here we go, here's the start. Ronja Blurtlinger, noticeably 2 or 3 gears higher up there off the line than everyone else, and just put the watts down, didn't she?
Went off like a short track.
Yeah. Look at the rider on the right-hand side of your screen here, just strides away from them and cuts back in, crucially, just before that classic start from Blurtlinger there.
It's important on that right side. If you don't start fast enough, you will get cut off by the riders on the middle.
Here we go, so a little reprieve through this section before the track kicks back up again.
Yeah, this small descent is the only drop on the whole climb from bottom to top.
There's a rock on the inside there, just begging to claim a pedal from somebody. Keller swings through the shot there, Steger as well.
But a really tough climb. Just as we come round the corner, it's the top of the descent from last time. We saw Carlson on course in the pre-show. How steep it is and how technical. They've cleared that one, then have a little false flat before a really tricky little pinch coming up. There's 2 lines, all in the rocks.
Samara Maxwell now has Jenny Rissveds for company in second place. Lecomte moving backwards slightly. There's Steger and Keller also beginning to feel the pain as we head up this really techy, horrible little rocky punch at the top of the climb.
I'll tell you who's coming back at high speed, Candice Lill. Arguably the best pure climber in the elite women's field, and she had a really poor start, but she's been flying up this first climb.
That's the rider in the white jersey to the right-hand side. Look at just getting edged out by Luana Lecomte. We've seen in the races already today in the under-23 category that getting into position for this set descent, absolutely crucial and well worth taking an opponent's front wheel with you if you need to make it. There's the A-line on the left, rider's left, excuse me, goes off that. Oh, Luana Lecomte.
Taking the front wheel off Rissveds. I think Rissveds doing the A-line and Lecomte doing the B. It was faster.
Taking the wing mirrors off Jenny Rissveds as she blasted past her on that descent round side of the tree. Big bars on these cross-country race bikes these days as well. No easy feat.
Interesting to see Luana Lecomte. Last week was a bit of a slower start. We see her cut down just on the inside, carries some speed.
Here we
from
go,
that
look.
B-line. Takes the front
Yeah, no way Luana Lecomte was missing that position there. She's all smiles, she's all laughs, but absolutely merciless when she needs to be, as Ronja Blurtlinger on clips and bobbles right into the way of the race leader.
This is a horrible section, big tree roots.
Good tripoding from Alessandra Keller there, just kept the bike moving, unclipped 1 foot, pushed herself forward. These roots
coming through.
This shot, believe it or not, does not do them justice as to how horrible they are.
About 30 centimetres high, and it's almost like a perfect wheel gap between the two. And if you don't carry momentum, the chance of going over the bars is high. And now it's all going to group up as everyone bangs into each other as they lose momentum.
So Ronja Blurtlinger leads the way in an elite level UCI World Cup. Only her second one on the 46 bike, Live Factory Racing. Then it's Lecomte, who we saw mercilessly take that spot away from Rissveds in the descent. Jenny Rissveds doesn't forgive or forget that easily. I wouldn't be surprised if those two come together again later in this race. Jen Jackson still inside the top 10. Evie Richards, final rider in that top 10. So let's have a look at this bobble from Blurtlinger. As you see, has to ride the top tube of the bike.
Yeah, we saw a number of riders in recce and in warm-up on social all having problems on that section, and carrying speed so difficult. I mean, fair play for her holding that one up. But Luana Lecomte now chopping Maxwell as well. So Luana Lecomte on a bit of a mission on this first lap.
Good racecraft that from Blurtlinger as well. She knew she'd made a mistake and made sure to park the bike in front of the rider behind her. Blurtlinger, Lecomte, Rissveds, Maxwell, your top 4 on an all-action first lap here in Araxa. But Blurtlinger starting to stretch the elastic band now. This is an attack from Ronja Blurtlinger. It's Luana Lecomte in second place ahead of Rissveds, Maxwell, Steger, Lille, Keller, and there is Zina Fry. It's one thing, Ollie, we heard a lot from the riders in the pre-race interviews, is that this setup off the track will result in races getting stretched out a lot more than perhaps we've seen in the past.
I mean, it really is a traditional kind of up and down. And last time we saw the race kept, because of the little steps, it means that people can regroup the whole time. Whereas this one, I think we're going to see a front group of 6 or 7 on this first lap. It'll be interesting, like we mentioned before, about, we saw the races last week, that we got a really long flat start finish. And if there's not a big gap, riders will bunch together and look at each other and not wanting to lead and push into the air.
Saw the leader, Blurtlinger, going for a good old-fashioned European mech checker of a whip.
But the pace from Locke in his first lap, and especially on the descent, really putting pressure and stretching everyone out. We see Alessandra Keller, 6'7", super experienced, super consistent, but having to work so hard just to stay in this line.
Well, for all the efforts of Blurtlinger, Lecomte, Rissveds have matched her every pedal stroke off the way.
But Luana Lecomte is looking dangerous at the moment.
She's looking up for this one, Luana Lecomte.
Really aggressive on the descents. And at that long climb, we saw at Crans Montana last year taking the win, but a little slower. She was 9th last weekend in round 1, but maybe having a slightly slow start. We talked before about this. We got 6 months of racing, 10 rounds at the World Cup and a World Championship, and really hard to hold form, time form. Some of these riders coming into this race really hot, top form, 100%. Some other riders coming through a little bit more relaxed. Maybe Luana Lecomte goes into that camp, so we expect maybe a better performance in race 2 than race 1. There was a number of races pre-season, so kind of form finders, and Luana Lecomte not racing too much, whereas you got someone like Yolanda Neff raced a lot.
2021 from Luana Lecomte, took 4 victories early in the season to take that overall title, and last year we saw her taste victory at 2 of the most challenging technical tracks of the season, Crans Montana and Mont Saint-Anne in the rain. The French woman was absolutely mesmerising. Samara Maxwell still bobbing and weaving in the middle of that group now. But the big guns are to the front here. Steger's in with them. We haven't seen really the best out of her so far in Brazil. But it's Maxwell, Rissveds, Keller, Blurtlinger, Lecomte, Steger. Some heavy hitters in this group, Ollie, and we can see just at the bottom of the screen there one of the decathlon forward riders, Sevilla Blanc, trying to make her way.
in this group as well, both trying to get back on, and They're going to benefit from this long flat section. That front group just happy with their position.
You can see a couple of line choices down onto this grassy section, and a real line burnt in through the middle of it that you need to be on. So it looks pretty innocuous, but the riders will take big risks to get onto it.
Yeah, and it's Blunt, Sewald, teammates, Richards, Tioki. Yeah, that group of 4 that have now got back on to make one big group as they start the climb for the second lap.
Rissveds' fastest lap of lap 1 equal to that of Lecomte. So they head onto the base of this climb. And again, Samara Maxwell taking this one on from the front. Great to see the red jersey of the overall points leader in there, mixing it early doors. Jenny Rissveds in that inscrutable style just sat down.
Again, high temperatures, humidity still on the higher side, so riders going to have to be really careful in these opening laps. If that core body temperature just starts to rise a little bit, once it gets too high, the brakes go on and you're just forced to slow down. So it's worth being conservative, I think, in this race.
As we head out on the lap proper then, we did see in under 23 races at the first attack zones that's normally reserved just for tech assistance was opened up for water as well to help the riders cool down and manage that internal body temperature. So
another rider in the back of this group, Chiara Tioki, the Italian, and Lapierre racing. A good start for her. Didn't have a great race in race 1.
Maybe Richards in your shot as well. They're just heading through with the Red Bull helmet on for Trek Factory Racing Pirelli.
But you just see how tough this climb is. It's steep, it's long. You know, it's a climber's climb where you can just sit in. What I mean by that one is the riders can just sit in the saddle. You can't attack it out the saddle and use body weight in a sprint. You need to just stay in the saddle, spin the gears.
Wait for it to be over.
Yeah, count down the seconds.
So anyone's race, really, on lap 2, our first proper circuit of this revamped Araxa circuit. And Ollie, it would not surprise me if we saw more of this in UCI World Cup racing, because the organisers here, they really have done a 2-for-1 deal on digging out 2 really different tracks.
Yeah, and fair play to them. I went round, I really enjoyed the first course. I think it's one of the best courses we've had as far as I can remember. And then this second lap.
So we see a replay. Watch this move from Lecomte.
That is that's a big move.
Yep.
One of those ones that I didn't think anyone would ever do in that section. But no, Luana Lecomte has proved me wrong.
I don't think Jenny Rissveds thought it was going to be done either until Luana Lecomte spotted a bit of room and decided to stick that BMC right into it.
It's great to see Emily Johnson coming back. Number 33 on Scott had a huge smash last week, stretched it off the course.
Big crash, yeah.
Thankfully only cuts and bruises, no concussion, no bones.
Jenny Rissveds, Samara Maxwell, Candice Lille, Luana Lecomte, Lyra Steger through your shot as well. As they head up this horrible little punch of a climb. Rissveds, Maxwell, Lecomte, Steger, the top 4 as it stands on the road. Then Lille and Blurtlinger. As I am very happy to say, we are joined in the commentary booth by none other than Henrik Avancini. Henrik, very different course out there today. Which of these 2 Araxa tracks would you have preferred?
Well, I think last week we had a more fun, more speedful course, and for today it's a very hard course. We are on lap 2 now, and you can see that riders are already feeling the effort. We can see the gaps just happening at the moment, and it's a different course, a little bit more tricky. You have less bumps to launch you into the climbs with some speed, and a little bit more tricky, drier conditions as well, hotter today. So I would say last week and today it's going to be a paying fast.
Yeah, definitely. Did you see that move of Luana Lecomte just chopping the front of Jenny Rissveds' bike off? Absolutely all-out warfare as we see the Swedish national champion down through the A-line section, and just look how well that Canyon bike is operating out there. Samara Maxwell in that trademark position of hers. torso practically horizontal over the top tube of the bike. Luan Lecomte here, Ollie, looks like she could be a real instigator as this race goes on. Rissveds leading the way, but...
Yeah, Lecomte, we know how technically good she is. We saw that in Crans Montana last year when she won, and also quite a svelte rider, really good climber too, but she just needs that form, everything to click together.
She needs that mental boost.
Yeah.
We saw her last year here in Brazil. Is struggling a little bit mentally. I remember the finish line here in Araxa. She was sitting in the grass and crying in tears, you know, just questioning herself. And then just like in 2-3 months' time in Crans Montana, she was rocking.
And I think it was that pressure, obviously Olympic Games selection for the French coming in hot. And I think a lot of these riders just not having that Olympic Games to worry about.
We just saw Lecomte having to take a little swerve around the bottle there, dropped by one of the riders in front of her. So these three are gapping those behind them, and it's a very, very fast trio out the front of this one. Rissveds, Maxwell and Lecomte. Henrik, how difficult is it to do what Luana Lecomte has done? Because she used to be kind of a pure climber, and now she's turned into one of the most, if not the most technically gifted out there. We saw Crans Montana last year in the rain, Mont Saint-Anne in the rain. She absolutely dominated them. How difficult is that as a racer to do, and how impressive is it?
Not just technical, but more of an overall rider. So she's developing and learning in every aspect, in every area, and that's not easy. So she was skinnier a few years ago.
Here we go, just watch this bottle. Watch Luana Lecomte, the rider, in third place at the minute. Oof. Oh, it's her own bottle, actually. Still managed to spill quite a lot of it over herself, so that's not a complete disaster. But sorry, Henrik, you were saying it's just super impressive what she's done.
It is very impressive. I think she went through some ups and downs on the last few years, but she's strong now. She's a great climber, but also technically she's strong. She also improved quite a lot on the transitions. Yeah. That's why she started performing a bit better on the short tracks. So she's more of a complete rider at the moment.
And new team as well this year, swapping over, was at Canyon Collective for a long time, swapping over to the BMC team, so big team change.
That definitely feels like a round peg and a round hole, doesn't it? French-speaking team. I know we interviewed Jordan Sarrou earlier in the weekend. He said that her integration into that team's been pretty seamless. She's so experienced. She knows the bike really well already. She herself told us it's the perfect bike. And Luana Lecomte looking like a force to be reckoned with at the front of this one.
And looking super calm at the moment. You know, I know some riders have more of a poker face, but she's not looking too stressed at the moment.
No, you can generally tell with Lecomte, can't you? You can read her like a book.
Fantastic ride, Ronja blocking another one of these young riders. First year in Elite last year, stepping up through.
Jen Jackson joining this group as well, and she's brought everyone else with her, so they are back together again at the front of this one as they head towards the end of lap 2 out of 9 here in Araxa. 9 laps of journey, Ollie. Big race.
Yeah. And it's amazing. They had a 9-second gap coming into this descent, and it just shows that bit. They hit the grass and they just back off a little bit. They don't need to attack. They don't just expend any energy, and then it all just comes back together. But
yeah, the riders will have loved to have seen that, all the effort they made to revamp the track, and they've left that horrible grassy track around the lake in as well. And this is why it tends to do this. It brings them back together. Jen Jackson, to my eyes, looked to be the fastest through that jump line on the last lap as they head towards the end of lap 2, the first proper distance, and it is going to be Jenny Rissveds who leads them across the line with her. Luana Lecomte, Samara Maxwell, Jen Jackson, Ronja Blurtlinger, Candice Lille, Sevilla Blanc, Lyra Steger, and a decent gap behind them to the chase group. Excuse me, it's being led by Sevilla Blanc.
Keller in there, and also Evie Richards is still in time to get back in touch.
I think we got a 9-lap race, and it's going to be a difficult one.
Lap 3 out of 9 here in Araxa, Brazil. Round 2 of the UCI Cross Country Olympic World Cup. Elite women on track, and excuse me, it's Greta Seevald for Decathlon Ford, who's in this group, not Sevilla Blanc. Her teammate Blanc is leading the chase group, however, trying to get back towards the front of this one. Gap not too big just yet. And as ever, this is very much what we've seen from Jenny Rissveds in 2025. She takes these things on from the front and likes to be kind of the decision maker at the front of the group.
She had a different approach for the short track yesterday, and it played out because she crossed the line in third. But again, compared to last week on the cross country, she's again in charge of setting the pace, setting the tone of the race. Perhaps it's just confidence, or perhaps could be also that she wants to apply pressure where it suits her the most. Let's see.
There's a visual on that gap. You land the Neff on the number 5 on your screen. Now Samara Maxwell in third. They're all just about back together now as we see Zena Fry bridging the gap. Evie Richards in the number 10 behind her. Then it's Blanc.
There's Rissveds applying the pressure. That front three just pulling clear again. Lecomte, Maxwell just getting back on terms.
Jenny Rissveds really, for me this season, from what we've seen of her so far, Henrik, she's kind of got that Pauline Ferrand-Bravo magic cadence going where you can never really tell that she's pushing a bigger gear, but she is, because the gaps continue to go out. The body stays very, very still, and she just turns the cog.
Because there is a gap, but we saw on the last lap, on second lap, if you really want to make a decisive move, you need to invest a little bit more. You need to go deeper. Otherwise, they're going to get back together and be on your wheel at the finish line.
Well, a key example of investing energy was Blevins and Gretzky in the men's race. They invested so much energy in that first lap, and then obviously then they could go consistent, they could work together. And it was the other riders that then almost tripped each other up to keep the gap so high.
Rissveds, Lecomte, Maxwell. And there's Alessandra Keller a little further back and looking like she's revving quite hard in 14 fully.
Yeah, not having a great lap, drifting right through. Neff coming through now, 18th. She had a really slow start, almost a complete reverse of last week when she went off and led it super hot.
Do you think that's a tactic, Henrik? Because she went off like a cannon earlier on at round 1 and paid the price as the race went on. Do you think this is something that they've worked on with Cannondale?
I would say so. I would say so. Probably Dixie suggested, okay, let's take it easy on lap 1 and 2.
We're seeing Martina Berta out of the race for Origine Racing Division, the Italian national champion. Not her day today. We'll get you an update as to why she's pulled out when we can. But Rissveds asking a lot of the front end of that canyon.
And this gap growing out now, 5 seconds.
And that has been the story of the under-23 races, really, is gap building, how to manage it when you get there. And it's Rissveds who's doing a lot of the work, and it's now Samara Maxwell in third wheel, who's just beginning to lose a little bit of ground on Luana Lecomte as they go up that really, really technical. Oh, Maxwell bobbles and has to lean on the tree. Steady herself crucially, doesn't unclip, and will now have to double her efforts to get back on. Jenny Rissveds has a chance to make this a group of 2.
That's going to be difficult for Maxwell now. We're on the last section. Got this forest track.
Talk us through it, Ollie.
Yeah, I mean, this is so steep on the inside. We saw Rissveds go on the beeline around the outside, but as soon as you stall at the top, it's all rocks and roots. Struggle to get going. At least you have to get off the bike, but losing 3 or 4 seconds, and then at the top here, we're straight into the descent.
And this is dangerous here, Henrik, isn't it? Because you can risk too much on the descent to try and make that gap up.
It's fast and also...
Samara Maxwell throwing it down the hill. So Martina Berta, we're hearing that DNF due to illness. Jen Jackson rolling through, but Samara Maxwell really attacked that descent, Henrik.
Yeah, she has to. She has to keep in touch with the leading duo.
There she is.
But this is costing some energy.
It's this corner here. A lot of riders have slid out in practice, and in the under-23 women, it's the one before the roots.
Here we go. Luana Lecomte on the inside line overtakes Jenny Rissveds. Another statement move from Luana Lecomte early in this race.
And that's going to help Maxwell as well. She's got Rissveds now in that gap.
That inside line, so tough. Look at the size of the roots. Absolutely brutal. And Luana Lecomte just saw an opportunity yet again here in Araxa.
Candice Little fifth, Ronja blocking a 6th, Stiga 7. teammate Fry on Specialized 8th now.
Steger, rider on your screen now in 7th, 14 seconds back off the lead. Luana Lecomte takes control of this one. Samara Maxwell rolls back on to make it a free rider race at the front yet again.
But these three are definitely the best climbers today. You know, they're the one that's getting, every time we've hit the hill, they've got that little gap.
Luana looking really, really good. And we know her as a rider. She needs to be confident to perform well. And she looks like that today.
Definitely one of those riders as well. French woman, of course, sort of, she's escaped that pressure of the Olympic Games, that magnifying glass and the amount of media and the stress, and she can concentrate on, just as Sevilla Blanc told us earlier in the weekend as well, it's World Cup racing again. You can just concentrate on that, not get too drawn into the psychology and the stress of the Olympic Games.
Olympic drains is complicated and it's draining. You know, the qualification, this person's done that, that rider's done this, they've raced here. Now it's just a race is a race. You can turn up at a World Cup and just crack on.
Did you just call it the Olympic drains there?
It could be. It's a stressful time. It's the biggest race, it's amazing for our sport, but when you're in the midst of an Olympic year, it'd be a pain in the butt.
Really, really impressive from Sammy Maxwell, though, riding her way back onto the front of these two. Henrik, really difficult to keep calm and just not get too worried whenever a gap grows out like that.
Yeah, but Samara is doing a great job so far. I was asking myself and wondering if she would be feeling good for this week after, you know, like performing so well and winning, you know, the first World Cup. At times it's too much mentally, you know, you get all these heat of emotions. During court practice, she had a few crashes. I spoke with her team manager, one of the team managers, Stefan Tempier, and said, oh, she crashed a few times during course practice, but she's looking good and she's feeling good now. And yeah, performing very well so far.
Similar sort of shape and style on the bike to Tempier as well. Really, really low over it, likes to push a gear. Maybe not just as big as Stefan used to push in his day.
But Jen Jackson getting back on.
Yeah, Jen Jackson now in 4th place, 4 seconds off the leader. So what we're seeing in 2025 from Jen Jackson, really impressive. Just a load of tenacity, never stays down, never gives up. That crash early doors last weekend had us nearly flying back through the advertising board and behind us all night.
It was a big one. That is one of the fastest sections on the course, and she just went off at 45 degrees. Thankfully didn't hit anything, land on anything. Bike was okay, but the focus to get back on a crash like that, jump straight back on, and then hold it for a whole race.
Lecomte right at the top of the podium strike rate. NXCO Elite Women's, 23 podiums from 28 starts. 82% podium success rate for the French woman.
There we go, repeat of the lap before, the front feet. Happy just to let off the gas, not in a rush. We'll take a bottle to cool down, have a drink too, maybe a bit of carbohydrate.
It's easy to talk about the UCI World Cup overall points leader. It's easy to talk about our resurgent Luana Lecomte, but you cannot doubt what Jenny Rissveds is doing here, and she's kind of inherited Pauline Ferrand-Prévot's mantle as the poker face of the group.
Yeah, and the way she is, her core strength really strong, upper body strength just so solid on the bike. Everything is about that power and getting to the pedals. And a new team as well. That was the big change. You had Luana to BMC, Rissveds to Canyon.
Ronja Blurtlinger still at the front of this one as well. Crosses the line in 4th wheel for Live Factory Race, and then it's Steger, Jackson, Lil, Fry, and Richards now in 9th as well. So all back together again at the start of lap 4.
And Nicole Collar, say the rider of last week. 10th position at the moment, up to 13th for just that second group.
That was a tightly contested award for rider of last week. There are big performances left, right and centre as we see the diminutive figure of Zena Fry move to the front of this group now. Fry is in amongst them. Really, really explosive, dynamic rider.
The Specialized Factory girls last week took a little bit of a kicking. You know, Steger and Fry both off the pace a little bit. And I think you'd probably feel that pressure. The men's doing so well. I think you'd probably want to feel like you need to step up to and having a better race this week.
Specialized Factory Racing, perhaps unsurprisingly, leading the way in the team's overall competition, thanks to that domination in the elite men's race last time out, but Evie Richards on lap 3 with 9:37, fastest lap of the race so far, belonging to Tamara Vidman from 9:29 on her second lap. And given that Isabella Holmgren's fastest lap was a 9:47.8, they're pushing it out there. Jenny Rissveds leads them up the climb. Samara Maxwell, the shoulders starting to oscillate. Luana Lecomte alongside her. They're all together.
And it's still that front three that are, you know, they're making themselves they're stamping their authority on the race every time you hit the climb. And again, we're going to see it. I think those front three pulling clear. Jen Jackson hanging on.
I see Jenny Rissveds just taking a look over her right-hand shoulder there, and this little flat section, she seems to stretch them out again. There is Evie Richards.
Evie Richards moving up now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say she's a climber, but let's not forget that she became world champion in Val di Sole, which is a very, very physically demanding course.
I think if you've got shape and you've got good condition, but I think the big thing, like I say, with the heat and the humidity today and the long climb, I think that as much as you want to be a pure climber, the big thing is the pacing from lap to lap.
Absolutely.
So easy to blow up on this circuit.
It could be tricky for those three riders that are looking stronger, at least until this point of the race, that they keep testing each other, lap after lap, and then towards the end you kind of you lost the edge, and when you need to really punch to make a decisive move, the power is not there anymore.
The boxer matches. Every time you make that little surge and attack, another one goes, and then the last lap there's nothing left.
Evie Richards, one of the few elite women to have managed a UCI cross-country short track World Cup win, and then backed it up with a UCI cross-country Olympic win. She last did that in Snowshoe 2021. She could get the win here today. Keller looks to be towards the back of the group, and Lecomte just laser-like focused down through this descent. French woman looking extremely strong here on that BMC 4-stroke.
Yeah, and you see how much the upper body's got to work and how well developed. The front cross-country riders are almost looking like the upper bodies look like they're professional climbers. So super sinewy, but strength. Well, that strength, power to weight is the key.
That BMC 4-stroke, one of the trickiest race bikes out there. Luana Lecomte is aboard. Got to have a little look at Jordan Sarou's earlier in the weekend. There's Jen Jackson in 4th place, but electronically controlled Olin suspension on it. They're patented dropper post that will drop itself without the rider having to apply their weight to the saddle. You recharge, it's all integrated into the frame. You recharge it with a track pump. It's to say one of the trickiest bikes go on the bike in 3rd place at the minute.
Really interesting this lap. That front three haven't pulled as much of a gap this one. So Jen Jackson and Evie are still in contention going into the top of the climb. Whereas before we've seen every other lap, these front three, Rissveds, Maxwell, Lecomte, they pulled quite a gap by this point. Maybe they're looking at each other or just slowing down a little bit.
You hear calls of steady, steady, catch them on the downs, but it's a tall order at the front of a UCI cross-country World Cup that these days. As we see Jen Jackson on the number 19. In 4th, hasn't quite made it stick yet in the main group, but is edging her way towards it. Luana Lecomte making that beeline work really, really well for her.
But Jen Jackson super fast on the descents. I think she'll be able to roll onto the back of this group.
Evie Richards.
Vamos, Evie! Go!
So on lap 4 out of 9 here at the 2nd round of the UCI Cross Country Olympic World Cup 2025. It is Jenny Rissveds from the overall points leader, Maxwell, in 2nd place. Behind her, Luana Lecomte. These three. The group have come back to them at the end of most laps, but they tend to then ride off the front of it again. But Rissveds now starting to build a bit of a gap back to Maxwell. Kiwi needs to get this one covered off. Jen Jackson has been 4th for most of it as well. Interesting race this, Henrik. Really sort of, they come together, then it's the same characters push out at the front, then they come back together again.
Yeah, but even if they are closer together now, if Jenny pushes hard at the transition at the bottom, and then it might be harder for the chasing group just to get back together before they hit the climb again.
So Rissveds leads the way, the 2016 Olympic champion. Grabs a dump bottle, so normally in this first tech zone, feed and bottles not allowed, but due to the heat today here in Brazil, that's been relaxed. Riders can take a bottle. Most of it usually going around themselves just to cool down. Yolanda Neffs in 18th place, just ahead of Alessandra Keller in 19th, so not Keller's day today as she appears on screen.
Yeah, I think it's, I can't remember the last time I saw Keller so far back in a World Cup. She was winner overall last year and was so consistent. Never got a win, but loads of podiums just week in, week out.
She's quite far back and she's alone, Henrik, as well, which won't help her.
Well, let's remember she's a fighter.
She is a fighter.
She still has 5 laps to go, so let's see.
Here we go down through the jumps then. Jenny Rissveds, Loana Lecomte, and Samara Maxwell. There's Jen Jackson. Jen Jackson was absolutely electric through the second jump line here on the last lap, so look to see if she can close off some of that gap via air miles as they head into this full-on jump line now. Over the double jumps, Loana Lecomte staying really compact mid-air. There's Samara Maxwell. Jen Jackson is with them at the front now. Evie Richards arriving to the party too in 6th place. They make that 5th place. I can't see Ronja Blurklinger. Rissveds rounds the berm.
I don't know if Richard made a little mistake just dropping back there. She was a bit closer, but it's saying 9 seconds on the count now.
Yeah, I can't see Ronja Blurklinger. She's on our timing screens here, but obviously not in this front 5. So now we see if Jenny Rissveds just sits up and allows this to come back together again, or will she push on around the lake in this grassy section?
Again, just the pace comes off at the front. I think that's going to... Richards is going to be able to get back on, blocking a Fry, Stiga, Kohler. Kelsey Urban in 12th, having a cracking start to the season so far. And KMC Ridley, so really stepping things up.
So it's Rissveds from Lecomte on at the headless train. In your shot now, 5 seconds is what it's saying as we await the race leader at the start-finish line. There she is.
Yeah.
Jenny Rissveds heads across the line alone for the first time in this race. What is the gap going to be? It's looking chunky. It's looking bigger than 5 seconds to my eyes.
And that was Rissved's fastest lap of the race so far, 9:35.
Yes, 12 seconds. 12 seconds now. Alarm bells should be ringing in the ears of Loana Lecomte and this chase group as Jenny Rissveds is making a break for it here in Araxa.
Yeah, that's a big one. You know, to get the gap wasn't so big. Everyone else sat up a little bit, and it's Richards who's taking it on now.
And everyone at some stage here in Araxa over the last 2 weeks has been in a group like this and been caught napping. It's so difficult to work together, but they need to now, Henrik.
You do need to cooperate now. You do need to cooperate now because with half of the race done, if you give some space to Rissveds, especially because she has the speed on the transitions and she's moved everywhere on the course, if you allow her to build a gap and to recover and to apply her style around the lap, it's job done.
Yolanda Neff trying to cool down there, just slotting in behind Anna Terpstra. Neff in 17th, so moving up Yolanda Neff.
Yeah, Neff doing the 2nd fastest lap of the race in 9:30 so far, which was on her 2nd lap. So she's got form.
Rissveds looking ominous here though, Ollie.
It was interesting, she didn't really need to attack, it just kind of drifted off the front a bit. Everyone then, I think Lecomte didn't chase, everyone looked at Lecomte to do the job.
It really is a case of first person to blink on this track layout in Araxa, isn't it? One little let up. It's Maxwell taking the climb on now as Henrik Avancini makes the international signature move of the motorbike at full throttle.
And it's Lecomte responding as well, trying to get around Richards, but it's so steep in this track, it's loose if you go off the line.
Yeah, and you see Evie Richards just making herself as wide as possible there to block off that attempted pass from Loana Lecomte. The mood Loana Lecomte is in today, you're a brave person to try and block her off.
Sammy Maxwell now at full speed. Lecomte, Richards, Jackson, little gap to Sina Fry. Savina Blunt getting back into that group now.
Wow, that's Samara charging on the chase.
Samara Maxwell trying to drive it on back towards Jenny Rissveds. We said right at the top of this race that this track suits her. Look at this effort from Samara Maxwell. That is why she is leading the UCI World Cup overall title chase.
And you see Loana Lecomte, full grimace now. That last lap, it was almost a poker face up here. Now she's at maximum effort.
So there is Ronja Blurtlinger. She is in that group. 7th currently on our graphic screen. Cole Kohler's well in there as well. Nina Graf. There's Kate Courtney ahead of Yolanda Neff now.
But Rissveds absolutely lighting this up now. I thought the attacks would come a bit later, but...
Kate Courtney, definite signs of recovery from her this season as well. Looking better and better each time we see her. There's Linda Indergan and Liv, factory racing bike. Emily Johnson.
And
Kira Baum.
Last year's under-23 winner.
Look how tough this is. Oh. Kira Baum on the 17. Cube Factory Racing got that brand's first ever UCI World Cup win.
Courtney just losing traction, or is it mechanical? Just on that inside.
Yeah, that's Kate Courtney off, maybe just dropped a chain. There's Madigan Monroe in the mix as well. Yolanda Neff behind her. Neff, you can see with those cooling pads on her wrists, just every little helps to try and keep the core temperature as low as possible on a very, very hot day here in Araxa. The clouds have come over slightly. Lap 5 out of 9, 43 minutes into the second round of the UCI Cross Country Olympic World Cup. Lecomte, though, swinging at this one a bit now, Ollie.
Yeah, Rissved's putting the pressure on Samara Maxwell, trying to go with her, and as a result, Lecomte's blown a little bit. Jen Jackson's come past her on this climb.
We are just waiting for our screens in the booth here to update so we can give you a more accurate idea on that gap.
But yeah, it looks like Rissveds, Jackson now up into second, has gone past Sammy Maxwell and Lecomte. But Rissveds absolutely lighting it up, saying 19 seconds now. 19 seconds, then back to Jen Jackson, it's saying 23 seconds, but I just saw we went off the front two.
Yep, 19 seconds is the gap now.
Nina Graf doing a hell of a ride, Lapierre Racing. 12th in the first race, so really stepping up for round 2.
Together with Evie Richards, that might help her at the bottom part of the course.
You see Richards, Graf coming through.
Yeah, 25 seconds I'm seeing now. Oof. Huge gap starting to form. This is not just an opportunistic one from Jenny Rissveds. This is a prolonged attack. Samara Maxwell, second place, then Jen Jackson, Loana Lecomte in 4th, and Evie Richards in 5th now. But 24 seconds is the distance between Jenny Rissveds and Samara Maxwell.
Sina Fry coming through.
Maxwell having a bit of an issue here. Watch the rider in red. Oh, just getting pushed onto a different line. Loana Lecomte, you can see that ripple effect in action. Richards getting half a pedal stroke in there, just enough to carry her through.
Fair play, Jen Jackson just stalled a little bit on the route. I thought she was going to have to clip out, but managed to just give the bike a little bit of a shove, hop it over that next route, keep going.
27 seconds now.
27 seconds. It's continuing to go out now. The rest of them all still circulating largely together. You see Luana Lecomte just flat landed that little gap jump, but Samara Maxwell looking like she's not capable of closing this down from Jenny Rissveds. We should say, as always, cross-country racing, you're one puncture or a broken wheel away from disaster. But so far, the Swedish national champion from Canyon Collective, Jenny Rissveds, looking extremely punchy here. Lap 5 out of 9 in Araxa, round 2. There she is, your race leader.
Yeah, what a lap by Rissveds, lighting it up. I thought she might have gone a bit early and Maxwell would pull her back, but it's been the complete opposite. She's extended that lead on the climb. Really strong, stable on the descent.
Jenny Rissveds made her elite level debut back in 2016, the same year that she took out a gold medal at the Olympic Games, and since then she has been one of the driving forces in elite women's cross-country racing. And this year, after that move to Canyon Collective, she is looking sharper than ever. Nearly 30 seconds to the good, 25 up the road from Samara Maxwell, just past halfway point.
But again, Jen Jackson riding out of her skin. Big improvement from last season. It's that crash in round 1 last week. Big crash, but still finished 6th. To come back sitting here in 4th position, looking really comfortable on the back wheel of Lecomte.
Very smooth, saving some energy through those jumps.
Here is Samara Maxwell then with the red plate and the red jersey of the UCI points leader. Number 1 on her back. Luana Lecomte, who was so aggressive early on in this race. Just see Samara Maxwell looking over her shoulder, maybe looking for a bit of help from the pair behind her.
Very interesting to see the gap now to Rissveds, and also the lap time of Rissveds. Whether this is the fastest lap so far, but she's absolutely lit it up.
27 seconds. Yep.
And that trio now, they need to make a selection. I think it's clever if they keep charging, because if they allow the big group get back together, you just waste too much energy.
Do you think these three will work together to try and bring Rissveds back? Are they going to start thinking about 2nd and 3rd? I think they should work a little bit together now. Just charge, just keep the pressure a little bit on, just to create some space for the chasing group.
There she is. So Jenny Rissveds, your race leader, crosses the line. The fastest lap was a 9:29 of Tamara Widman. She holds on to that for the time being. Let's see what the gap is behind Rissveds, though.
That last 3 laps for Rissveds, a 9:47, 9:36, and then that was a 9:31. So she's increasing the pace, piling on the pressure.
Here we go. A big number is about to appear alongside the name of Samara Maxwell. 34 seconds, it's gone up.
And it's lunchtime in that 2nd group.
Just 5 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm wondering now, as we see Tamara Widman on the 31 bike for Mondraker Factory Racing Attack, are these 2 groups going to come back together now? Jen Jackson on the Orbea takes up the chase.
Very good move, I would say. Yeah. Even if they close the gap, she's charging. So everyone is pushing. Everyone needs to charge as well.
The group is back together. So is that little roll through of Jen Jackson a signal? Samara Maxwell looking like she might be just settling back into the group slightly.
Nina Graf-Lapierre, you see, just sitting 4th rail. 12th in the last race, so a real big step up. Best result last season, 10th in round 3, so this will be a PB if she can stay in this position at the moment.
Now, this is potentially great that they're all back together, but there's the danger of getting caught up racing each other. You see Yolanda Neff on the number 5 alongside Gwendolyn Gibson for Trek Factory Racing at the back of this one. Sevilla Blunk's in there, Kelsey Urban's in there with the US National Champions jersey on. So they do have the necessary reserves of power to bring this move off Jenny Rissveds in. 35 seconds it's saying now.
Steedman as well, really piling on the pressure in that Mondraker squad.
Nina Graf, what a shift she's putting in at the start of this lap 6.
But yeah, a load of riders are getting back into the race that I thought were done for. You know, Gwen Gibson doing a hell of a ride. Yolanda Neff
charging in the front.
Yeah. And a couple of riders that, you know, you'd put money on would be in that group. Candice Leo, Alessandra Keller, just missed that move.
Yep, Keller is now in 18th, 1 minute 44 off the lead of this race for the overall title holder. And it's starting to be stretched out now by this attack from Nina Graf. And if you're Nina Graf, why not have a go here?
You say Tamara Wiedmann as well. It's interesting how you get some riders last week. You think Wiedmann 23rd in the race, you know, you don't know if it's a completely smooth race, but then suddenly stepping up and she's at the 2nd position, probably a position she's never been in at this level.
It's the Woodlife with Loana Lecomte. Think of that as a fuel tank being emptied, 167 beats per minute currently, so she grabs a gear there on the BMC. There's Kira Bohm. A bit further back, Bohm now. Back in 26th position in a group of 3 alongside Catalina Vidari. Zioki. Rissveds leads by 32 seconds here in Araxa, the 2nd round of the UCI Cross Country Olympic World Cup 2025. Very different racetrack and a very different race today. There is your leader on the 69 bike.
It's going to be a long race. This one got 9 laps. They're circulating about 9:30, 9:40. So at a 1:22 race, something like that. So on the long side, especially in this heat.
Last time she won, Myra Pora, cross-country Olympic. Race there, round 1 of last season. Jenny Rissveds. She was 8th last time out last weekend. And we have seen her go well in the heat in the past, so maybe just the conditions today suiting her as well. But Graf really inflicting some damage on that group behind her, and it doesn't seem as if they can kind of get the roll-through train rolling.
But you see that little bit of fatigue now. We're getting into almost an hour in. Making small mistakes. Samara Maxwell coming around the corner. Oh, straight over the bar.
That was close.
Yeah, really close.
Samara Maxwell forced into an emergency push-up, but manages to stay clipped in, stay on the bike. Great bike riding.
But we saw Mati Cesaro in the men's on a similar... It was on that section, but when they did it in reverse, just catching a rock, not on a what you would call a difficult section, just a transition. Just a silly mistake.
It's a little bit of time, but mainly it's some energy that you throw away. Different lines in there.
The thing I used to find, you know when you make a mistake at the back of the race, you move and you use your body in a different way, and it was just cramp. The cramp kicks in, the hamstrings lock.
It's interesting, yeah, because that's what... We talked to Christopher Blevins earlier this week, and he said that last lap of the elite men's race last weekend, he said, for him, that was just purely about not cramping up. He said he was under that much pressure to just stay moving.
You're right on the edge of everything just locking up, and you need that. When you make that big mistake, everything just overreacts.
And it blocked.
And it blocked. Yeah, then you're in trouble.
Then we go through the roots. Oh, Loana Lecomte just gets blocked by Graf there, and in turn blocks Maxwell.
And this is all going to help Jenny Rissveds every time these riders just bang into each other.
There's another couple of seconds, yeah. Talk us through it, Ollie.
Rissveds coming through. Loana Lecomte tries to chop up on a slightly more difficult line, stalls a little bit, and then of course you get the reaction goes down the bunch.
36 seconds, Tamara Wiedmann. Second place behind Lecomte, Maxwell, Jackson in 5th, 43 seconds now, covering the top 5. Richards, Graf, Fry, Blurtlinger, 50 seconds back. Then it's Kelsey, Urban, Yolanda, Neff in 11th now. So Neff moving forwards as this race goes on. Whoa. Just about gets the back wheel down there, Loana Lecomte. Lecomte looking like she might be able to use this attack of Wiedmann. Looks to be in great form here, not even taking a bottle on the way through the tech zone. And maybe Tamara Wiedmann can be the vehicle to get Loana Lecomte back across, do some damage in this gap, Henrik.
I think she's charging now. She has the fastest lap time of the day so far with 9:29. So she has the speed on course. And I think it's a clever move. She probably felt that the race is getting heavy at this point, nearly 1 hour of racing. So she needs to charge, she needs to keep the pressure on. If another rider comes with you, that's great. As we can see now, Loana trying to close the gap, and it's not bad if you take another rider with you.
Yeah, it'd be great to have 2 of you to work together on the grass and just share the load a little bit, but I think Loana Lecomte's just paying a little bit for that early efforts, trying to follow Rissveds.
Tamara Wiedmann. Yeah, Tamara Wiedmann did win pre-season in La Nucia, Alicante, but look how good Jenny Rissveds is looking out front here. Henrik Avancini nodding his head. That is a racer in prime form.
That's her thing, because she's so powerful. She can do those transitions so well and so smoothly. So on early laps, I think the struggle was where she could create the gap. And this wasn't happening in the climbs. And we saw the gap opening on those like small transitions during the descent actually. And when she got to the transition alone, she could actually use her best, which is her power.
And if you're new to mountain bike racing, telltale sign of a bike and rider working as one. Look at Rissved's head here in this shot, just staying absolutely still, allowing her bike and her body to absorb those high-speed impacts.
Yeah, Tamara Wiedmann riding out of her skin. Best position last year was 9th in round 8, so coming to form, but was under 23 in 2023, so not long in the elite category.
There's the whoop live for Loana Lecomte, 177 now, heading up towards 180 beats per minute. She's in the red and pushing hard here, Lecomte. Staying with Wiedmann.
Jenny Rissveds coming through, another good lap, 9:52.
Whoa, just how impressive is this, Ollie, that we're seeing?
9:42, sorry, even more impressive than I thought before.
How impressive is what we're seeing from Rissveds, though? Overall, throughout this race, she has been superb.
To get the gap early on and then just lock into this rhythm, and all the laps have been within, let's say, between the fastest and slowest lap has been within 16 seconds. So but just banging out lap after lap.
Look how strong is Tamara right now, because Loana was really close to her wheel and she kept charging.
It's 27 seconds. 27 seconds, so Tamara Wiedmann's taking this one by the scruff of the neck. And just as we saw Carter Woods in the Elite Men's short track yesterday, Tamara Wiedmann is going to be the joker in the pack here, and it looks like she is moving things back towards Jenny Rissveds. There's a while to go yet before she gets there, but the first rider to make any serious inroads in it.
Yeah, Tamara Wiedmann's lap, 9:30 for that last lap.
Against 9:42 from Rissveds.
12 seconds out.
What a ride for Tamara Wiedmann we are seeing. And has she now jettisoned Loana Lecomte? Lecomte now 8 seconds back off the Austrian. One of Mondraker's 2 resident Austrians. Of course, Mona Mitterwallner. Back in 21st as it stands.
And we see that last lap. Wiedmann 10 seconds faster than anybody else on course with a 9:30. Also the owner of the fastest lap at 9:29 on lap 3.
Tamara Wiedmann threatening to peel the stickers off that Mondraker at that speed.
And another rider, Nicole Kohler, relatively new to Elites, under 23, only in 2023. And last year learning the ropes in elites.
Look at the effort here. Full gas from Tamara Wiedmann. Samara Maxwell trying to get back across to her.
Yeah, the rider pulling faces. Luana Lecomte now paying for those early efforts.
Jenny Rissveds, though, class the field, we should state, still out front by some margin. 32 seconds currently the gap between her and second place. There she is. There is that monstrous gap behind her.
We've still got 3 of these climbs left to do.
And on a day like today, as hot as it is in Araxa, the efforts these elite women have put in, anyone's game. Neff takes a gel. And what is going to be in that gel, Ollie? What sort of stuff are we looking at now?
Basically just trying to get, you'll have like 30 grams of carbohydrate, you know, really quick reacting sugars. You know, you're about half, it takes 10, 15 minutes for that to get into the bloodstream, so now's the time.
Here we go. So, Maxwell cruising past Wiedmann, who may now be paying for that effort. Samara Maxwell, though, finding an extra gear late in the day here, Henrik.
And showing also some mental toughness, because she was feeling good. She was strong in that leading trio. And then at some point she was, you know, like struggling a little bit, sliding backwards on that group, and now recovering. So that takes some mental toughness. And we can see Yolanda Neff on the back of that group.
11th.
Pretty good ride so far.
Yeah, Nicole Collar coming through as well, up to 9th now.
Exactly the opposite from what we saw from Neff in round 1, really. She's marching back through the field, didn't peak too early. Rissveds peaking up that climb absolutely perfectly.
Candice Liu and Alexandra Keller, 2 of the main contenders for the day, struggling a little bit in 17th and 18th at the moment.
Yeah, an off day for Candice Liu, as it is for Alessandra Keller, but look at Rissveds.
Yeah, powering up that. She chose that beeline every time, but it's working well for her. Just carrying speed.
So the top 3 now beginning to stretch out away from 4th spot, Evie Richards. So, 7 seconds or so between her and Samara Maxwell.
But Rissveds looking really strong, like Henry said, on these connecting sections.
Here's Maxwell moving past Luana Lecomte, making a break for it. She's only a second behind Wiedmann now.
Yeah, maybe Maxwell just overcooked it, maybe got a little hot one lap. Maybe a couple of dump bottles, cool the body temperature down a little bit, and then you can go again. But it's the speed that Rissveds is over this section now, and she's linking it. It's those ones where it's like 3 or 4% out the saddle driving it.
Samara Maxwell all by herself here.
Yeah, good lap for Maxwell, this one. But it's going to be a really tough race, 9 laps, and they've gone at it. And Rissveds going so early, getting away on that 4th lap, it just means that everyone's been on the limit now for about 30 minutes.
Tamara Wiedmann back there, Jen Jackson in close contention, Evie Richards 50 seconds covering the top 5 now. Jenny Rissveds has played an absolute blinder here in Araxa, heading for what would be her 4th career cross-country Olympic UCI World Cup win.
Podium number 20, that would be. To top that with a win would be good, huh?
Wouldn't be bad, would it? That's what I like about Henrik. He always comes with the stats. You don't just turn up, you come with stats. Yeah, round 4 in 2016, round 6 in 2019, round 1 in 2024, excuse me. Jenny Rissveds, cross-country Olympic UCI World Cup wins so far. I don't know why I thought that number was bigger, but she's done a lot of short track winning as well, and amongst that.
But yeah, the winner of round 1 last year came absolutely flat, and there was actually been quite a while since she'd won a cross-country, and the confidence that gave her.
And this will be a huge, I mean, we still got a long way to go yet, but if she gets this done, huge reward for Canyon as well with their investment in her in this off-season as well. One of the big, big moves.
Yeah, we saw a lot of changes, more in the women's field than the men's. Some of the big riders all swapping teams.
Yep, never seen an off-season like it. After Paris 2024, you always expect a team shake-up after the games, but Luan Lecomte in 7th now, 55 seconds back, having ran right at the front of this one. Early doors, Tamara Wiedmann still coming on really strong in 3rd place. Jen Jackson in 4th, Richards, Graf, Urban in 8th, Fry in 9th, Nicole Kohler in 10th, Blurtlinger hanging on there in 11th as well. Great ride from her. Samara Maxwell just takes a mouthful, gets cooled down slightly, as much as she can do. Temperatures approaching 30 degrees Celsius out there as the live drone drops back in behind Jenny Rissveds on the Canyon Collective machine.
It just shows how impressive Jenny Rissveds' ride.
That
just looks so cool and calm.
That little left-hander before getting onto that A-line there, it's off camber, it's really, really tricky. Heads into the jump line now, your race leader, Jenny Rissveds, heading towards the penultimate lap here in Araxa.
But that big chasing group now is starting to split up. We're seeing little gaps of 3 or 4 or 5 seconds between all the riders. I think we're going to see in this last 2 laps, I think we're going to see some riders having huge explosions and then other riders coming through that have paced it well.
And you don't have to look too far either. The elastic band has kind of turned into a bungee cord behind our race leader, Jenny Rissveds. Samara Maxwell had it back to 30 seconds or so. It's now 41.
Yeah.
Wiedmann still on the hunt of Samara Maxwell here, and you get the feeling if the Austrian can just stabilise and try her best to recover behind the Kiwi, she might be able to shout a 2nd place. Jen Jackson absolutely superb through that jump line, as she has been all race long.
It was almost like Wiedmann, almost the adrenaline got the better from her 1 lap. She hit the front, well, the front of that group, 2nd place. Just pushed, I think, just a little bit hard. But she's recovering from that now. She needs to settle in and find a pace, ride for a position.
It's everything, the crowd noise.
Yeah.
She's riding for a new team. Perhaps, you know, even the team staff gets like over-motivated on the sideline. This could trick your mind, you know, at times.
Yeah.
It's such an unbelievably physical, but all the more psychological sport as well, cross-country racing, isn't it? As you say, Henrik, we see the Whoop Live comparison, Zina Fry versus Yolanda Neff, more or less level pegging in zone 4, so they both have more to give. Not quite red zone yet for the 2 Swiss riders. Yolanda Neff, she gets herself up inside the top 10 here. A good result for her.
And the rider pacing it well. Kelsey Urban, KMC Ridley up to 8th now. Really good solid lap times, just super consistent.
2 laps to go for Jenny Rissveds, and that leads me to say a big thank you. The Avancini signal has detonated in the skyline above Araxa. Henrik Avancini heads off. He has duties elsewhere. Ollie, this is about as dominant a display as we've seen from any of the elite riders in 2025 so far. Jenny Rissveds looking absolutely head and shoulders here today.
Yes, she put that really fast lap in mid-race, got the gap. And I think there was early doors. You had Maxwell, Lecomte, Rissveds showing themselves the strongest climbers today, but then Rissveds just putting the pressure on, and it's made it a really, really hard race for this field.
Big ride from the woman on your screen now, Evie Richards as well, up in 5th place. Looks like she's been down as well on the right-hand side, just telltale signs of the stickiest dirt known to man here in Araxa.
Yeah, Richards a fighter. She's getting to get back onto that group.
Nina Graf still putting a shift in with Rowan Lecomte. Close contention to her now as well in the number 2 bike.
We've still got 2 laps of this race left. Normally it looks like they're almost getting to the end. These gaps are appearing. They've all got big pain faces, but we've still got nearly 20 minutes of racing left to go.
It's going to be a long one.
And that was Rissveds. Normally in this course we were expecting it to hold together a bit, this front pack, and it to wind up as the race went on. But actually Rissveds lighting the touch paper really early.
Wiedmann from the UCI World Cup overall leader, the red jersey. Samara Maxwell. Jen Jackson actually fastest on lap 7.
You're thinking the fastest lap of this race so far, Wiedmann.
Look at Wiedmann kicking again up this climb. Tamara Wiedmann's not finished with this one. As we see another, I'm guessing, pitch-perfect shot. Jenny Rissveds through this descent, moving as one with that canyon.
Rissveds is so impressive. Looks like she's out for a fast practice lap, just linking these laps together. And we see there at 9:40s, 9:36, 9:31. 3 of the fastest laps have come from Rissveds so far. And on the climbs as well, just sat down, good cadence, not attacking the bike. We see her style is really efficient compared to someone like Samara Maxwell, who gets out the saddle, uses her upper body a lot more. It's Wiedmann just coming past. Jen Jackson just coming past before the top of the hardest climb on the circuit.
Tamara Wiedmann writing her name large across this race, really. It wasn't just a springboard attack that came to nothing. She really has stayed towards the front, but now, as I say that, Samara Maxwell attacks both her and Jen Jackson.
See Evie Richards in the background, doing a really, really good ride. Had a consistent race, always been between that 5th and 10th position, coming through strong. And again, good lap times, 9:37, 46, 57, a bit of a dodgy one, then 45, 40.
The race lead from Samara Maxwell.
It's Gwen Gibson in the background coming through, Kelsey Urban.
Yeah, still big names up and down this race. Graf and Lecomte still battling to work together.
And the Cool Collar as well, up to an 8th position now. So if we're starting to think of overall positions, and the Cool Collar doing a good ride. Yolanda Neff up to 12th now, 1:16.
Neff, holding station the last couple of laps, but has been a lot more involved in this one towards the sharp end than we have seen of her in a long time.
Rissveds as well, just this last really steep section. She's been taking this beeline all right, all race. Yeah, it's been working well. And when you take the A-line, you need to do a really hard acceleration to pop up. I think just riding that beeline just saves that little bit of energy, and then you can carry a bit more speed through into this drag to the top. Then we drop into the descent. But we've seen Res rock solid on the descent, rolling down. A-line, we saw early days, Luana Lecomte doing the beeline and overtaking Rissveds on this descent, but rock solid on this canyon bike. There goes Samara Maxwell chasing now with Jen Jackson. So Jen Jackson coming past on that climb. Samara Maxwell again making mistakes, just showing little bits of fatigue.
Yep, second time she's done that in that same place. Here they go now. Jen Jackson.
Jen Jackson gapping Samara Maxwell. Samara Maxwell attacked the bottom of the climb, full gas. Again, Jen Jackson on that beeline. Carrying so much speed. Samara Maxwell coming through. Again, you can see she had a difficult week, a few crashes, and you can see the plasters on her knee and on her elbow.
Rissveds, Jackson, Maxwell, Wiedmann, Richards.
Gap coming
top
back.
5.
39 seconds now from Jackson to Rissveds. Just floating around that 40 seconds.
Yeah, and as ever, we are duty-bound to reiterate that this is mountain bike racing. You're only ever a puncture or a broken wheel away from disaster. And what we've seen of Jenny Rissveds has been all but perfect so far. The scrap behind her has raged between these 3 riders in the blue, Tamara Wiedmann, Samara Maxwell, and this is Wiedmann being overtaken by Maxwell, and then again by Jen Jackson. So Wiedmann maybe paying the price, Ollie, for those 2 laps where she really took the fight to the front of the race.
But a big day for Wiedmann as well, riding in a PB position, but a big day for this new Mondraker team. First year they've had a factory team, and for those guys involved last week as well, they had a tough weekend. They took a bit of a kicking, and to come back in as well and be riding in that 4th position at the moment. Wiedmann can hook up with Richards.
It just shows how quick Rissveds is in the second half of the course as well. They make inroads on the first half of it, and then she just pulls away from them again.
Yeah, that route section round by the old the old hotel. She's carrying good speed. Rissveds floating through A lines all the way through. We start taking these lines for granted, thinking that they're easy, but they're far from it.
They are far
Just the
from
riders
easy.
are so good this season.
Look at Evie Richards. Absolute game face on now. The grimace painted wide across both her and Luana Lecomte's face. A long, long second round here in Araxa. A very, very different course.
And it's been a long race. It's a hot race. And you wouldn't believe how good that ice water feels when you can pour it on yourself at this stage in a race. Any little bit of shade, any little bit of cold water just makes such a difference. Your body's right on the edge. That core body temperature is through the roof.
Weidman, though, super, super impressive from her.
Impressed with Evie Richards as well. Obviously 2 wins in the short track, but struggled a little bit last week with the pace in the cross country, but that's won it this week.
This will do Evie Richards.
Yeah.
Overall placing, should the race finish now and stay the way it is, absolutely no harm at all. Plenty of points up for grabs this afternoon as ever.
Yeah, looking a bit further back as well. Nina Graf 7th, Nicole Collar coming through 8th, Gwen Gibson doing a fantastic ride, Evie's teammate at Trek.
Jen Jackson has been absolutely superb through this jump line, lap after lap. Samara Maxwell not too shabby either, it has to be said. The Canadian, though, making it look easy.
Jen Jackson alongside Nicole Collar has been the 2 riders that have really stepped up. You know, before last year, 10th would have been almost a win to those riders, but now to come through, they're contesting for the win itself, and
you have to say,
fantastic.
From what we've seen so far this season, it's shaping up to be a brilliant year, isn't it? You can't call any of these cross-country World Cup races.
No, if you would have come into these first 2 races and said, right, who's going to be your first 5? You wouldn't have put Jen Jackson in there. I wouldn't have put Nicole Collar.
Weidman.
I definitely wouldn't have put Tamara Weidman.
Weidman, I mean, absolute. She's been a revelation in 4th place today.
Yeah,
but look at this. Talk about revelations. Wow. Final lap for Jenny Rissveds in Araxa. It has been total mountain biking from this woman.
And she's not slowing down. A 9:42 lap. The previous one, 9:40, a 9:42 before that. She's not come off the gas at all. Absolutely rock solid.
Is not taking that risk of slowing down. Let's just get the gap, over the line as the battle for second begins to take shape between Jen Jackson and Samara Maxwell.
So Jackson and Maxwell the fastest on the last lap at 9:35. Let's see where they're at this one.
Maxwell will have the psychological boost of leading them across the line.
9:43 for Maxwell and Jackson. They lost a second to Rissveds on that lap.
There's Richards and Weidman now doing battle for 4th spot. Luana Lecomte gets the belt for lap 6. That grimace growing and growing. 177, fully into the red zone now. The tank almost empty. Luana Lecomte just has 1 more lap to complete. This group all back together now. Ollie, this has been tough to keep abreast of what's going on at the front of this race.
Really, really tough race. With it 1 climb, 1 descent, you're not getting so much recovery as you did last week in these little small sections, and 9 laps as well. You know, and in this heat and humidity, a rider who's played it really well, Yolanda made a big mistake last week going off too hot.
Yeah, Neff, 12th at the minute, could easily get herself up into the top 10 as we see the battle for this climb begin. And it's Samara Maxwell who wants to be first onto it. Then it's Jen Jackson, then Tamara Weidman, then Evie Richards. There are going to be some tired and battered bodies at the end of this one. Jenny Rissveds, really the first shot we've seen her breathing heavily in all race long. Lap 9 out of 9 here in Araxa. Fastest lap last time round. Tamara Weidman with a 9:29.3. Can't wait to see the lap comparison graphic at the end of this one. There's going to be some tiny numbers on there.
But on a day like today, on this type of course, with that long climb, with the heat and humidity, you really want to be consistent with your lapse time. And that's the most impressive thing about Jenny Rissveds. She hasn't made a mistake so far at all. And all those lap times, well, the slowest lap has been a 9:47. Fastest was that lap she attacked a 9:31. So they're all within a really narrow band.
They all are when you look at them on our screen here. They're all within 4 or 5 seconds of each other, and that's over a course like this. So impressive.
No mistakes, super focused, always on the bottles, and consistent laps. That's your kind of XC basics.
Cross-country mountain biking, so much of it is about feel and skill, but a massive portion of it is about numbers, and those numbers are beginning to hurt Loan Lecomte. Maxwell now on the attack, heading for second place here.
Yeah, for Maxwell as well. She's descending really. Oh,
Jenny Rissveds, it's starting to show. The cracks are starting to show, but it may well be too late for everyone else. 37 seconds is the gap by our screen.
I think we can allow her to grit her teeth on the last lap after a day like today. But that's the first time you see that poker face drop.
There's Lecomte equally in pain. I tell you what, Ollie, we had some extremely tough wet weather races last season, but I can't remember a war of attrition like this one.
This is a real toughie.
Absolute battle.
This combination I said before of the atmospheric conditions, but also as well the intensity, and Rissveds attacking so far out. And it just means that everyone's been maxed out now. No recovery.
There is nothing left out there but bodies. Yolanda Neff in 12th, just behind Zena Fry, Gwendolyn Gibson, Ronja Blurtlinger in the purple jersey on your screen now, still in 13th. Great ride from her. The best we've seen of her in the elites so far, and really such a promising young rider. We heard a lot about her from an early age, but on a day like today in Araxa, the best in the world really show their mettle. And Jenny Rissveds, we saw her just moments ago in huge amounts of pain and still finds time to dig deep enough, push the gap out to 38 seconds.
I think when you know it's that last proper climb and you've just got to crest that corner.
Ollie, how many times in mountain bike racing do we see performances like this?
It reminds me, where we've seen a performance like this, it's Pauline from Romtrevaux.
Yep.
Hits out early and then just bangs out these laps. You know, just one after the other, does not miss a beat. Everyone else behind is all over the place, getting in each other's way, up and down with lap times, and they're just banging out one after the other.
Absolutely superb from Jenny Rissveds. It's been a while since we saw a performance like this. Behind her, Jackson, Maxwell, Wiedmann still battling. Maxwell currently second place. Jackson in third, Richards fourth, Wiedmann in fifth.
We're going to see some fast descents from these pair.
11 seconds. Evie Richards said that one of the hardest things she finds about this course is the fact that you've got to descend so late in the day. Your arms are gone, your legs are gone, and you've still got to be accurate through the air.
But Richards carrying good speed through this section. She can just see Jackson on the corners. Wiedmann as well, doing a career best ride at the moment, 5th position.
Jenny Rissveds just ticking the sections off now, moving towards the finish line. Couple of more seconds spent in the saddle and maybe we've seen so far, but who can blame her?
Just can't relax yet, got to focus through these corners. It's not just the key sections, it's these loose bends as well. Just got to tick them off, keep focused.
Well, this will be her 4th career UCI World Cup cross-country Olympic win, and I don't remember any of the other ones being as hard fought or as well fought as this one. This has been absolutely textbook from Rissveds, but there is still some way to go before the job is done. 5 seconds Samara Maxwell has taken out of her through the last split, so Rissveds, as they all are, in pain here.
And it's going to be a big scrap, obviously 2nd and 3rd on the podium.
And you can see Jen Jackson just doing everything she can to stay away from Evie Richards to try and guarantee that podium spot.
Tamara Wiedmann's not done yet. 5 seconds behind Evie Richards.
Oh, it's a proper... Oh, look at Jen Jackson. You can feel how much that one hurt from all the way in our commentary booth. Rissveds leads the way. Behind her, though, Battle Royale shaping up. Samara Maxwell Jackson and Richards will look to take this one to the line. Tamara Wiedmann fancies giving them a run for the money as well. She has been absolutely sensational today, the young Austrian on the Mondraker.
Yeah, what a result for her personally, but also the team as well.
Maxwell is really pushing now. She is motoring. Maybe not so much towards Jenny Rissveds, but away from the chasing pack, but it is bringing her back towards the Swede. Look at Jen Jackson. Another 5 seconds, 31 seconds now. Richards lands heavy, has a big look over the shoulder. 10 seconds in 2 splits going the way of Samara Maxwell. There she is, the rider on your screen now.
Really pinning it.
Throwing that rock rider into the rocks.
It's going to be a fast lap from Maxwell.
It's going to be a huge lap for Maxwell, this, and a proper statement of intent on lap 9 out of 9 in Araxa.
For Maxwell as well, to back up last weekend with a 2nd position. That's really big. I mean, we're talking overall, we're talking the maturity. What a big result.
What we're talking about here, though, is Jenny Rissveds on the Canyon Collective, heading towards her 4th career UCI cross-country Olympic World Cup win. Started back in 2016 in Lenzerheide, 2019 in Lenzerheide she got one, 2024 in Myrapora she got her 3rd. This one is going to be one of the sweetest tasting yet. Rissveds can just about smile, lifts a hand off to high-five the team in the tech zone. Jenny Rissveds heading towards the asphalt now, hits it and swings towards the finish line, gets the jersey zipped up. Jenny Rissveds has been absolutely unstoppable. Jenny Rissveds is going to win the Battle of Araxa. What a result, what a demonstration of strength, bike riding and racecraft. Jenny Rissveds wins round 2 of the UCI Cross Country Olympic World Cup in Araxa, Brazil. Ollie,
impressive result.
That was
to go halfway through the race, hold everyone off, just keep that focus.
Ferrand Prévost-esque performance from Jenny Rissveds. Behind her, though, here we go. Battle shaping up. Samara Maxwell's going to take 2nd place, but who's going to take 3rd? It's going to be Evie Richards. Evie Richards outguns Jen Jackson on the line. Huge result from Evie Richards from really deep in the field early on. She's been in the wars as well. She's been off the bike. But Evie Richards rewarded with a podium finish. Tamara Wiedmann home in a personal best of 5th place as well for her. Jenny Rissveds, though.
But that top 3 amazing performances in different ways.
Oh, it's really, really different bike race, that one. Luana Lecomte crosses the line in 6th place. Behind her, Nicole Kohler still continuing a really strong start to 2025, taking nothing away from her. And look who's behind her. Nina Graf, just 1 minute 19. This is a massive sprint for 9th place behind them. And who's it going to be on the line? Zina Fry. It looked like Zina Fry from where we were sitting. Yolanda Neff may have just sneaked home inside the top 10.
Yeah, no, it hasn't changed. I wanted you to know that, yeah. Proud of you.
But Jenny Rissveds taking the win. Unbelievable. The consistency and the focus of that performance. Maxwell coming through, up and down all race, having little fights mentally, physically. And then Evie Richards just pacing it so well, coming through all race.
Really hard one to keep track of, but it was absolutely enthralling throughout. Evie Richards, what?
Samara Maxwell doing the fastest lap of the race on the last lap.
Whoa, that is
9:28.
That's how you finish a race, Samara Maxwell. What does that say about her reserves of strength? She led them early. All the big names were in close contention. Rissveds moved to the front and then just kept going. Jenny Rissveds absolutely sensational today. One of the rides of a career studded with big performances. Rissveds, Maxwell, Richards, Jackson, Wiedmann, Lecomte, Kohler, Graf, Fry, Urban, the top 10. Let's get ready to hear from Canyon Collective's race winner. Jenny Rissveds was the class of the field today. She's down there with Ashley Wilmot now.
Wow, Jenny, what a race. Your 4th XCO win in the World Cup. Talk us through that one.
Oh, shit. Oh, sorry. I don't know.
It was hugely dominant out there.
Yeah, as I said to you before we went live, it's new to me to be lonely like that in a World Cup race, and yeah, working up some confidence, which is really nice, and a big step forward from last weekend, and yeah, it's cool.
You were alone crossing the line heading into lap 5. You really seemed to lock into your rhythm and pull away from the team. When was it in your mind that you thought this could be yours and you need to get ahead?
I just wanted to stay with the group to start out with, and then I tried to settle into my rhythm. I might have gone a little bit too soon, but not as early as last weekend, and I think that was smart.
In terms of confidence, you just mentioned it then. Is that something this will help with, that you've been working on?
Yeah, I mean, working on it every race, and I think we all do that. We might seem confident and all that, but I think we all have some doubts.
New team, new season, new bike, it's all coming together for you.
Yeah, it's really nice. I feel very happy and comfortable and enjoying my new team environment and the people around me.
Well done today.
Thank you.
Well, apologies for a bit of language there from Jenny Rissveds. It's live sport. People get excited, but nothing exciting, nothing shocking about the way she closed off that one after building such a huge gap. Rissveds, the winner in Araxa. She said in the interview that she was worried that she might have gone too early, but it didn't show. Let's get a confirmation, and look at these lap times from Jenny Rissveds. Absolutely mind-blowing that you can lap a circuit like this. Take 4 of the fastest laps of the race, all within such a similar window. Richards, fastest on lap 3, really closed things off with a 9:31. Samara Maxwell, fastest lap of the race on the last lap. She's down there with Ashley now.
Samara, congratulations. What a fight out there from you today to back up your win from last week with another podium finish. You're having a cracking couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I was not expecting that this week. I got my period at the start of the week, and I'm a mess. Like, I was out, couldn't eat, couldn't move. I was just in fetal position for about 3 days with my cramps. But I just hoped it would get better, and it did. And then the next day I just KO'd on a corner, so I'm like covered in bandages, and my knees got like, my hips get all inflamed when I get my period, so my knees get a bit funny. So I was just enjoying it out there, no expectations. So to come second was incredible.
The way you've obviously dealt with that in the week has really paid off, and thank you so much for sharing that with us. The last lap, real statement of intent from you. Nothing that you've suffered from in the week has held you back from that.
I mean, it's pretty motivating when every day I've got my teammates, you know, like they're strapping me up, they're covering me with bandages, they're making sure I'm okay, they're getting me heat packs, they're making me bottles so that I can get energy if I can't eat because I'm like so sore, and just they're incredible. So they make my job as easy as I can. So when I come here, I just pedal, and the crowd makes it so easy. But next time, would like for Steph to actually tell me 2 laps when there is 2 laps, not 3 laps, because I crossed the finish line and was like, oh, I have another lap. That's cool.
Oh, we wondered what you were thinking on that lap. And in terms of your time in Brazil, how will you reflect on this for you? It's unforgettable, right?
it's crazy. I mean, yeah, Brazil's been pretty insane for me to have these results, and kind of, I guess it's a bit like Candice last year when she just established herself and she said, you know, it was a bit like reevaluating your goals, and I'm just trying to figure out like everything and just kind of deal with it. I mean, it's the first time I've ever done interviews and like people have asked me for signatures and stuff, so it's crazy, but I love it, and yeah, it's been an amazing time.
I think they're called autographs.
Oh yeah, mate.
We're absolutely loving you, and you always bring a great interview, so well done.
Thanks, team. Thanks, everyone back at home and in Brazil. I get another teddy.
Samara Maxwell, always entertaining, calls it. As she saw it, you can see that arm all bandaged up from those crashes in practice, and a superb performance from the UCI World Cup overall. Points leader. Evie Richards, though, rode a superb second half of the race to get third place. She's down there now.
Evie, where did that ride come from? It looks like you have had a crash or something, so talk us through it.
Yeah, I've definitely been in the wars here. I got a bit in BIB and crashed and all sorts. So I'm definitely in the wars, but I'm really pleased with that ride. It was, yeah, a really good ride. I'm really happy.
At the start, you were kind of in the middle of the pack, but I know you've been speaking about how you've worked on strategically pinpointing these races. Do you feel like you nailed that again today?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I got 11th last week, so my plan, well, like, it's nice to get better than you did last week. So I thought just like start at 10 and then try and see if I can hold that and progress rather than start at like second and fade. So yeah, I'm really happy. It's a great result.
And a huge attack on the last lap. Were you saving that? Was that all part of the plan?
Yeah, definitely. I felt like I had some left in me. So I was like, right, leave it to the last lap. I think it's such a hot race and it's such a hard course. You don't want to go too early. You want to have reserves left. So I definitely had a match left for the sprint.
Well done today. Great race.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Evie Richards will help herself to a boatload of points for that third place. Great start to the season from her. Well and truly vanquishing the demons of Araxa 2024. Jen Jackson, though, you have to feel for her. Really took it to the rest of the field today. Jackson, fourth place, nothing to sneeze at. Here are those standings. Samara Maxwell leaves Brazil, 105 points to the good, ahead of Jenny Rissveds, Nicole Kohler, Evie Richards, Jen Jackson, Blunt, Keller, Fry, Lecomte and Lille. 195 points, covering that top 5. And as ever, Candice Lille, the highest placed privateer in the sport. Nina Graf will be well happy with being 11th in that overall. Blurtlinger in 18th. Yolanda Neff up in 16th. Mitter Valner in 21st, Kit Courtney in 25th. Luana Lecomte was involved in this one right from the gun. Let's hear from her.
Luana Lecomte, that was a hard-fought battle from lap 1 to lap 9. How did that feel?
Yeah, this year, for this beginning of the season, the level is very tight, yes, and now it's good to see the woman level at this level, and I'm happy about this race because last year it was a nightmare, this Brazil trip, so I'm happy. I know I had to work more to be at the top of my shape, but I'm happy because I make this interview in English, and I need to work and learn to improve my English. So if you can make an interview of me at every race, it's okay for me.
Perfect. You keep riding like that. We'll keep talking to you every race. Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, fair play. Luana Lecomte, an effort like that on a day like today. Look at what it meant to Tamara Wiedmann, how deep she had to go. Pull off the ride of her career so far, how quickly the tears turn into a smile. Evie Richards cooling down, a block of ice on that cheek. Just wondering if maybe she took a bit of a knock there whenever she came off. Evie Richards then boxed extremely cleverly today to take third place. Awards herself second place accidentally in the process. Evie Richards of Trek Factory Racing Pirelli gets the cuddly capybara for a race well run. Simply the best belts out across Araxa. Samara Maxwell, the leader of the UCI World Cup overall points competition, takes to the second spot on the podium. And that is what a successful start to your UCI World Cup campaign looks like. But in one of those races that will echo down the ages, one of the performances of this generation of cross-country rider, Jenny Rissveds takes to the top step, rewarding the Canyon Collective with their faith in her and investment in her this off-season.
And a nice picture for the ages on the top step, ladies. There we go. Give it up, everybody.
And there is your top three today: Rissveds, Maxwell and Richards. Sweden, New Zealand and Great Britain 1, 2, 3 here in Brazil. What a UCI World Cup season this is shaping up to be in the cross-country elite women's field. Extremely tight going. Very little to choose between that top 5, top 10. These three, though, have stolen the march on the competition as we head to Novo Mesto Namarave next up. Samara Maxwell leading the way by 105 points from Jenny Rissveds. Nicole Kohler, 125 points back off the lead. Then it's Richards, Jackson, Blunk, Keller, Fry, Lecomte and Lille. A lot more to come from Araxa. The elite men getting ready to go here. Round 2 of the UCI Cross Country Olympic World Cup season. Coming to you any second from Brazil. We've enjoyed this one. Stay where you are.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is your UCI Cross Country World Cup leader after our stop in Araxa. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back the